What's up, everyone? I'm Jacob, and back again with the Palkia Calyrex-Ice Raptor team that I used last weekend to win the Skydrop Series tournament, the inaugural tournament of that one. Again, hosted by Gerd. Shout out Gerd. Had a ton of fun at that tournament. Met a lot of really cool people, and got to walk away with the championship title, which I think is really cool. Had a lot of fun with this team, and want to show it off a little bit more in the channel. Sorry in advance, the battles are very, very long, especially at the back half. I fought Shuckle Chansey for the third battle. You can see the timestamp below. But yeah, it's a doozy, but the play I think is still very good. So hope you watch through the whole thing. And before I get started too, I want to give a big thank you, big shout out to Pokesports. They used the Glastrier and Rapidash team on their channel for a video a couple of days ago. I thought they had a lot of fun. I think Kevin, played really, really well with the Rapidash. He even gave me some props to the team outside of the Rapidash was pretty solid, which I would agree with. I think you heard my thoughts and the videos I made about that team too, but I think Kevin also had a lot better luck hitting Hypnosis with the Rapidash than I did. So thank you so much for using that team, getting it out there. I got a couple of new subscribers, so it could be the first video of mine you see. So if that's the case, welcome. We have a lot of fun on the channel, try to keep the vibes good, and we'll get into the video right after I ask you to answer the question of the day, which links back to the last video I made with this team. But what restricted pairs do you think are very underrated right now? Could be the Palkia Calyrex-Ice Rider. I think has been on the come up for a while, and I think a lot of people probably think it plateaued, finishing top 4 at NAIC a couple of weekends ago. But I think there's still a lot of potential. I think there's a lot of tweaking you can make with this archetype. The Gothitelle, the Regieleki variants. Rillaboom is just like another damage dealer on the team, I think. It's very interesting. Dialga Kyogre is another one that I talked about for 2 whole videos as well with that Rapidash team that I think is just so good. I think Lunala as well is another one that has really been on the rise lately, and Lunala Fever kind of hit its fever pitch during those last couple of tournaments in North America. So I'm really excited to see what comes of that at Worlds, if we see a lot of Lunalas, if that was all just a smoke screen and people just go back to Calyrex-Ice Rider because it's one of the best Pokemon in the format. But we'll have to see about that. Leave a like on the video if you enjoy what we're doing here. Leave a subscription as well. Helps out a ton. Leave your answers to the question of the day in the comment section below. And let's get into it. First battle of the day against Thunderlord. As we are probably 1 win away from Master Ball at this point. And it's an interesting team. Zacian of Yveltal is something that was explored a lot, early meta, and then has fallen off pretty hard with Aleki. The Alcremie is always scary, and then Tyranitar and Corviknight. So Palkia, Palkia looks great. Palkia Calyrex are very, very strong into this matchup. I think I still want to try to get Trick Room up if I can. The Incin, I think, Incin's really good just into whatever they could lead. I think Incin Palkia is pretty safe overall with Calyrex, and the last is where I have questions, because I could go, for Foul Play and more Trick Room pressure with Porygon 2, try to spread status with Amoonguss, or I could go Feeny as another check to the Yveltal. I think I like that. I think I like Feeny, but the problem is the Regieleki is still there. So I think I am going to go Amoonguss. I think it's a toss-up between those two. In the end, again, we have Mental Herb on Amoonguss, so it's not Focus Sash, but, we're EV'd, we're going to take a Behemoth Blade, we're going to take, I would imagine anything from the Tyranitar or the Corviknight. It could be like bulk up Corviknight with like a weakness policy, which, honestly, if I get beat by if I get beat by weakness policy Corviknight, hey. Okay, so they lead the Corv and the Alcremie. I don't know about weakness policy here, but definitely could be like bulk up or iron defense with a a heal pulse component from the Alcremie or a decorate. I actually don't know how decorate interacts with mirror armor, because we did just see that come out from the Corviknight, so the Intimidate got bounced back to me, which is fine. It doesn't matter. It means I can't Parting Shot. I can fake out the Alcremie and just go for damage. You know, I think honestly that might be my best way through this, because I am worried about that Corviknight. So I think a Max Lightning. Yeah. I think we just go for the maximum amount of damage we can get in this Corviknight turn 1. Because if they don't max, this should... I don't know if it would KO straight up, but I think it might come close. Unless they're, you know, max special defense or something like that. But yeah, the Corviknight's something that I really don't want to mess around with. You know, the kind of Pokemon that if it gets going, I think it could do way too much into this team. So we'll see. They don't Dynamax. They do protect the Alcremie though, so that's going to block the Fake Out. That's fine. Our Palkia, I would imagine, is faster than Corv. I think max speed it hits is 130. So, you know, unless they were max speed, we definitely outspeed, and cool. Perfect. Got rid of the Corviknight. Turn 1, everything I needed to do. Downside is I do set up the electric terrain, so I won't be able to sleep anything on their side for, you know, 4 turns. But I would expect it's just the restricteds in the back. And if that's the case, then I've got, you know, I can still put the Yveltal to sleep. Once I get rid of the Alcremie, that is. But they drop one of the restricteds. It is Tyranitar. So that's just a Max Geyser into one of the slots. With Incin, we are Shuckle. I don't really want to switch anything into a potential Max Rockfall into that slot. And this feels like it could be a weakness policy on the T-Tar. So let's Parting Shot. Try to bring Amoonguss in so we can Rage Powder away and attack next turn, and then if we can get rid of the Sand, get rid of their special defense boost, I think we're in a really good spot. But yeah, a lot of fighting the unknown whenever you're still working your way back to Master Ball. As, you know, we are going to see the Dynamax Tyranitar. Again, unless they're max speed, I would expect Palkia to be faster, which I think could be really nice for us, as they are just going to decorate. So it looks like very, very fast Alcremie. Definitely spooky, but we are going to go first. We max Geyser. The trouble is, if this is weakness policy, I don't think we KO if they're maxed. Yeah, because they do have the special defense boost, being a rock type in Sandstorm. So the problem is, if they are weakness policy, yeah. So it's a weakness policy somewhere. So they'll be able to knock out the Incin, probably knock out the Palkia too, honestly. So that's rough. As they do go Rockfall into Palkia, and we live. Okay. The problem is that we're so low, and the Alcremie likely has a spread move in Dazzling Gleam. So I don't know if we'll be able to do much with Amoonguss here. I could go Calyrex bait and just go back out to Incin, but they're already +4. That would just bring them down to +2. I don't know if that is really worth it for me. So we are going to go Amoonguss. We know that the Alcremie is faster than Palkia, and the Tyranitar is faster than Amoonguss. So, I mean, if they don't have Dazzling Gleam, we will just be able to get the KO on T-Tar. But I would expect them to have Gleam here. I can't imagine them not having Dazzling Gleam. We still have 3 more turns of Electric Terrain. Yeah, I think the best course of action here is just going to be stall at the max and try to whittle them down with Intimidates. So let's go back out to Incin with the Amoonguss and Max Guard. I could have just protected both that turn. I mean, I'm Max Guarding here just so Palkia can be on the field for another turn. Just so they have another Pokemon to target, and the Tyranitar can't completely run away with this game. Because it does outspeed the rest of my team. Switching out Palkia might have been the better move, as they're going to Max Guard T-Tar, so that would... They do have Gleam, though. Interesting. Very interesting. So maybe they forgot about electric terrain. Interesting. I don't know why you would max guard in that spot if you do have Dazzling Gleam, but, you know, Palkia sticks around for another turn. And, well, actually, what this means is we can fake out the Alcremie and get another attack off with Palkia. Which I think is good. Which I think is really good for us. So let's fake out the Alcremie, and we can get a Hydro Pump off into the Tyranitar. Because they just max guarded. Yeah. Okay, this definitely could have gone a lot worse. The max guard last turn, I think, was really, really interesting. As they do withdraw the Alcremie out into Zacian as their last, makes sense. Reason why we have the Babiri Berry on our Calyrex-Ice Rider. Tyranitar probably just targeting down the Incin, so I might lose both this turn. But the Hydro Pump should still do good damage. Hydro Pump should still do good damage. Honestly, it might be if we get like a high roll. Yeah! The crit, I might have mattered. The crit might have mattered. We might have gotten super, super bailed out there. But, you know, we've got ourselves into a position where we could get that attack off, which it did not look super likely the turn before. So we'll definitely take that. Absolutely take that. We go, how do we maneuver this? Because their last is Alcremie. We go Calyrex. Calyrex, we just protect, swap Incin out into Amoonguss, and then go from there. I think it's definitely the correct course of action, because we can go Incin out into Amoonguss and protect Calyrex, and the next turn we either Rage Powder plus Trick Room, or if Amoonguss goes down, we can bring Incin back out and fake out Trick Room. So go Amoonguss, we go Protect. It's super, super obvious for the Protect here, but I don't think they have much counterplay. And again, I mean, their best play this turn would be like Dazzling Gleam plus Behemoth Blade. And Behemoth Blade does not in itself KO Amoonguss from full, but B-Blade plus Sandstorm Chip plus Dazzling Gleam. But Amoonguss is going to stick around. As Gleam, I'm really not worried about the damage output from this Alcremie. Especially not into Amoonguss. So that's great, and we might have actually timed this perfectly, where once we get Trick Room up, I think Electric Terrain's going to expire next turn. So once we get Trick Room up, I think we're golden. Electric Terrain expires now. But this turn, we definitely just Rage Powder and Trick Room. And yeah, we definitely got super, super lucky with the critical hit on the Hydro Pump on Tyranitar. It might have KO'd based on the damage that Max Geyser did, because it's only a 30 power drop-off. And Max Geyser still did, you know, about 60%. But definitely, you know, definitely very fortunate to get the critical hit, because that took everything out of the question. You know, it made it absolutely not a damage roll. Got the KO 100% of the time. The Decorate goes into Zacian, but we can definitely make it so that the Zacian just doesn't attack again. And that's absolutely the goal here. We know that the Alcremie, because it was faster than Palkia, is going to be faster than Calyrex and Incineroar. So it will move last, out of that group at least. So this turn is super, super free. Just fake out into Zacian and Glacial Lance. And then next turn we can double into the Zacian, assuming they protect this turn. So, yeah, we were able to maneuver. I was you know, kind of got lost in the sauce there a little bit, but where I was going with that was we definitely got very fortunate, but it just shows, you know, the late game power of Calyrex is we just forced them to cancel the battle there. But, you know, great showing there from Calyrex in the late game, getting the Trick Room up, maneuvering around, just turning those win conditions 100%. And yeah, definitely a scary, scary team as we're going to continue on. Alright, second battle of the day, and it's pretty much a mirror match. It's 5 of the same 6. They've got Regieleki instead of Porygon 2, which I don't know if that favors us entirely. I played the mirror a couple times, never without the Porygon 2, but I think P2 plus Palkia is pretty solid here. I mean, this could even be one where we don't bring Calyrex. Because we do have, because we just don't do great into the Feeny, we don't do great into the Incin. I think what we want to do is potentially an Incineroar plus Palkia lead with Feeny and P2 in the back. Yeah, I think Instin's really only valuable in the lead here, because we would want Tapu Fini to switch in case they lead Palkia, and we want Porygon 2 in the late game because, you know, that is, I mean, that's our win con if we go to timer, because I don't think they would, I just don't think they have enough damage into it. Dropping Calyrex here, yeah, feels a little risky, but because they almost certainly bring the Incineroar to, you know, to beat my Calyrex, and because we can't deal too much damage into the Feeny, I think the only way for Calyrex to really succeed in this battle would be to Dynamax, and you know, that, I mean, that spot's already taken. That's gonna be Palkia every time, especially because we don't have the Dragon move. So this is exactly why we bring Tapu Fini, because it allows us to see that they're faster. We only have 4 speed EVs on Palkia, so that makes sense. But you get the Intimidate down, means nothing. What we can do, though, is go out into Feeny for the Incineroar, and it's either switch Palkia out into Porygon 2, or it's just Max and Max Quake into their Palkia. They also don't have any ground immunities, so Max Quake is very free, and the special defense boost is going to be really, really nice. Plus, with Feeny coming in, any Dragon-type move that they go for into my Palkia is going to be weakened. So I do think that's the play. They could also, you know, read into the Feeny switch in and click, you know, Rage Powder with Amoonguss, and that, you know, in that case, the Quake is our best damage in the Amoonguss. But this is going to block any Sleep Powder or Spores. It's going to weaken any opposing Dragon-type moves. Feeny's just so nice as a switch into this spot, as they are going to max. So this, yeah, I think this puts us in a really good spot. We do have Moonblast for damage, but I think Heal Pulse might be a little bit more useful here. They, you know, the other part of this is they could read into me. They could read into me either switching out Palkia or protecting that slot and try to Geyser the Incin, get a, you know, cheeky turn 1 KO there. So I can't imagine they'd click Spore this early on in the game because, you know, we both have the Tapu Fini. But them bringing Amoonguss would suggest to me that they did not bring Feeny, which would be very, very nice. They could also not have Regieleki because, again, that's the kind of Pokemon that you would bring in the lead. So they go Geyser, likely into the Incineroar spot, so we're going to eat that up with Feeny. Very, very nice. We are going to get a Max Quake off to boost our special defense, so we don't have to worry about this Dynamax Palkia too much, as they are also Life Orb, which just makes sense. We did know that they were faster from the ability proccing prior to the first turn. I don't know if you can hear my cat on the microphone, but he's jumping up over by the window now. So yeah, we'll see. And they do just click Spore turn 1, so really reading hard into me not bringing Tapu Fini this matchup. That's great. That's perfect. So that allows us, with Feeny, I think I just want to protect here. You know, the Amoonguss could have a Grass-type move. The Palkia could, you know, their Palkia could try to target that slot because they know that Feeny's very important to me in this game. And they likely, you know, also have Heal Pulse on their Tapu Fini, so they would know that, you know, any damage on Palkia is not really going to stick. So let's just protect Feeny here and Max Quake again. Didn't even have to pull out the Max Lightning tech, but if they do switch into their own Tapu Fini, we've got Lightning, we've got the Rain set up now for us for Thunders after Dynamax ends. As they do just Rage Powder, that's fine. The Max Quake, depending on how much special defense investment they have, well, prior to their Max Quake, it could have been a 2-hit KO. But this is nice for us. I mean, this just gives us, you know, we are getting more Max Quakes out of our Dynamax than they are, which in the mirror matchup, I mean, that's really all you can hope for, is just be bulkier than your opponent, as that's still pretty good damage. Okay, I feel good about that. We now are, you know, we're now +2 with Tapu Fini. We do have the Citrus Berry on there as well, so I feel pretty good about going for a. Question is Nature's Madness or Moonblast into the Palkia? I think Moonblast. Nature's Madness is only going to do a quarter because they're maxed. And I think from this range, Moonblast is going to do more damage on their Palkia. Plus, if they Rage Powder again with Amoonguss, then... do I want to target the Amoonguss this turn? I think no, because I still have the Incineroar in the back. Plus, again, if they do click Rage Powder, the Max Quake plus Moonblast may KO, but if they go for another special defense boost with a Quake of their own, probably not. So we'll have to wait and see. They do withdraw Amoonguss, though, so the double up into Palkia could pay off here as they go Incineroar. Fine. Probably Shuckleberry. Trying to switch into the Max Quake, which, yeah, again, works for me. Max Guard from their Palkia would make some sense here, but they do Quake. It looks like into my Palkia, though. Nope, into Feeny. I read the targeting wrong. That's going to activate our Citrus Berry, though. So I think all in all, we do get a lot more out of our Dynamax than they do. Because our Feeny is going to stick around on the field. We're going to live, whatever attack they go for. This next turn, because we're going to be a plus... yeah, because we switched in tournaments. So we're going to be a +3 special defense. We do... just chip away at the Palkia a little bit more. Probably put it in range for another Moonblast next turn. We'll see how much this Moonblast does. Yeah, not much, but I do think that's more than what we're going to get out of the Nature's Madness, and the special defense drop is really, really nice. Perfect. I mean, the beginning of this game has gone really well. We not only stall out their Dynamax, but just get so bulky. And this is another turn where they could pretty easily read into a Protect. They could pretty easily read into a Protect with my Tapu Fini, but I think that's fine. Because I lose nothing by protecting here, and a Hydro Pump, even at +1, since we're in the rain, I would expect to KO their Incineroar. So I'm going to click Hydro into that slot. Leave the Palkia around for a while, because I'm not really worried about its damage output right now. Both of our Mons are at +3 special defense. They're at -1 special attack now. So yeah, this game has gone super well so far. No switches come out from them. We protect Feeny. And the Incin, I mean, Incin could read into that fake out Palkia. That's fine. As they're going to click Trick Room. Which is a little interesting, since our Palkia is slower. But this is going to be the last turn of Misty Terrain. I do have to be careful about that. Because an Amoonguss switch in this turn could ruin me. So what we're going to do is which spot... I think they just Parting Shot with Incin out into Amoonguss. They probably leave Palkia on the field. So I think what we do is we just go out with the Tapu Fini into our own Porygon 2. And we try to Hydro Pump that Incineroar again. The Incin switching out into anything feels pretty likely, but Hydro Pump in the rain is just good damage overall. And without any special defense boosts on the Amoonguss, we're going to do pretty good damage, at least. We do get the Intimidate. I don't think it's going to matter at all. But, that's part of the beauty of Trace, is not only in longer matches, it takes longer for the animation to play, but you do just get that information. I mentioned that in the last video I made with this team too. And, it's always funny seeing the Porygon 2 get the Intrepid Sword boost, copying that from his Asian. But yep, they do just go into Amoonguss here. So they're going to force me to go into Tapu Fini next turn, as they unfortunately avoid Spatial Rend. I mean, unless they crit. Yeah, in Misty Terrain and with all of our defense boosts, that's nothing. So the question here is, do I want to keep those special defense boosts on Palkia, or do I want to save Palkia from taking any unnecessary damage? Porygon 2 is in a super safe spot here, as we have, they likely have just the Calyrex in the back as their last. We definitely have to bring Feeny in for one of our Pokemon this turn. I think I can wait to deal with the Amoonguss. So I'm going to Foul Play the Palkia on whatever wants to switch in that spot, and go out to Feeny with my own Palkia. I am giving up these special defense boosts, but once I deal with their Palkia, I really don't need them anymore. And if we do Foul Play, we get the Foul Play off this turn plus Life Orb Recoil, their Palk's going to go down. So I am fine giving up those special defense boosts. As they do withdraw Palkia, likely into Calyrex. So we'll see if their weakness policy here, unless they click Rage Powder. As they do just Rage Powder, so they're going to take away my Foul Play, which is fine. Yeah, I don't think I'm in that much danger with either one of my Pokemon. I do want to keep Feeny around to deal with their Palkia as just 2 more turns of Trick Room. So, yeah, I mean, a Foul Play again into... Yeah, their Calyrex is going to be slower, right? If they're minimum speed, their Calyrex is going to be slower. Because also, the thing about this Porygon is we're not min speed. We still have a little... We have a couple of speed IVs. So we just Foul Play that slot, and we go the Incineroar. Because our Porygon's going to move after. That's why I had that thought, was our Porygon's going to move after the Calyrex, so even if we give them a weakness policy this turn, it's not going to matter, since next turn we have the Fake Out, and then Trick Room's up. So we get the Intimidate off now. Perfect. If they are White Herb, though, so not weakness policy, which is good to know. Rage Powder with the Amoonguss, fine. The worry here would be if they're Swords Dance, but they are just Glacial Lance. So at neutral, not going to do too much. Porygon 2 is probably not going to love this. Yeah. That's not great. It is a critical hit, though. That's why I did that much. So we get our Foul Play off into the Amoonguss. We keep all of our pieces around for later on in the game, and we just click Recover and Fake Out this turn. Pretty simple turn. No. Kevin from Pokesports always says, keep it simple, keep it stupid. Absolutely love that phrase. Again, thank you to them for featuring the Galarian Rapidash team on their channel the other day. It made me really happy, and I think Kevin had a lot better luck than I did with the hypnosises and all that stuff. But they're definitely going to take their time here. I did notice, my your time is ticking down a little bit faster than theirs. I just want to make sure I don't run out of that. I think I have 3 minutes and some change. Yeah, they have to switch out Calyrex turn. I could have read into that and Darkest Lariat the Palkia on the switch in. But unless they don't Rage Powder though. But I always have a switch in, or they do Rage Powder, but it just goes after, Fake Out. But yeah, I never really have to read into that switch because Tapu Fini is always a safe switch into the Palkia. Since we know that they have a Dragon-type move, it's going to be, Dragon... We've seen the whole moveset. Yeah, we've seen the whole moveset because it was Spatial Rend, Hydro Pump, Earth Power, and Trick Room already. Cool. So this turn, again, Porygon 2's not in too much trouble here. We could... Let's see, what do I have? 2 more turns of Misty Terrain. They could protect Amoonguss. So I am going to go out in Tapu Fini. Their play this turn if they wanted to make a big play and really try to get ahead in this game. Because as of right now, I think I have a little bit of a positional advantage, but I am going to have to be careful with these Misty Terrain turns. As they Rage Powder with Amoonguss, yeah. So this is the very safe play for them, is Rage Powder with Amoonguss and Earth Power. Or Hydro Pump actually is a better play for them, since... yeah, Hydro Pump's actually the better play, since I had Shuka on Incin. But I felt it was pretty obvious that I would want to try to target down the Amoonguss. Palkia goes down to 1 more Life Orb, hit 2. And I do want to keep the Fini around. So we're going to go back out to Incineroar with that slot. And do I want to click Trick Room? Do I want to click Trick Room? I think I might later. Because I don't want to give it to them when they have a free switch in to their Calyrex. Because Palkia is going to go down this turn. So we go back out to Incin. The main reason I want to keep Tapu Fini alive for that Misty Terrain. If the Amoonguss is allowed to just run wild and put everything to sleep, then I do not like my chances in the endgame. But at least we're going to be able to pick up the first KO of this game with Palkia likely clicking Earth Power again into that Tapu Fini slot. The Porygon 2 is just going to sit on the field, as Insyn's going to take that at least reasonably well with the Sugar Berry. Yeah, so we're at least going to survive. And special defense drop doesn't matter. Palkia is going to go down. And the question is how we want to play the rest of this game. So we do have Misty Terrain disappear. I think, what even comes out for them? I think they have to go to their own Incineroar and try to just bludgeon my Incin to death. Which is fine. That doesn't really worry me too much. I could try to switch both out. Because I would want to get... I want to get Fini back onto the field for the Misty Terrain, but I also want to have Palkia there just for a little bit of offensive pressure. So if they go Incineroar here, which I think is probably their best move, I think Palkia is probably my best play. But yeah, I mean, this is... they do go Calyrex, though. So they can just Rage Powder Trick Room this turn. I think they have to Rage Powder Trick Room. So... yeah, Incin is probably going to go down to another... what? I don't think Incineroar would faint to a... to recoil from the Flare Blitz, is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I'm really trying to puzzle this one out. So you can Foul Play with Calyrex, and we'll just click Flare Blitz onto Amoonguss. I think they have to click Trick Room this turn. Because if we do get the KO on Amoonguss, I can sack Tapu Fini next turn, bring in the Incineroar, get another Intimidate down on the, or get any Intimidate down on the Calyrex, go back out into Fini, and if they don't click Trick Room, then we get the KO on Amoonguss. I would think Incin lives through the recoil here. I hope so. Yeah, perfect. We're max HP. We do get the Foul Play off. So that's going to do a little bit of damage. That's going to do a lot of damage. Wow, it's a crit. Okay. So we do get very lucky with the critical hit and the high horsepower. So Incin's going down. Yeah, the high horsepower. So Incin goes down, but the crit is really, really nice for us because that puts Calyrex in range of any attack. We're going to go Fini first because I do want to keep HP on Palkia just in case something goes crazy in the end game here. But the beauty of this turn is that they can only fake out one with their Incineroar. So yeah, very, very lucky critical hit that put us in a really good position. You know, happens again. But just like the last game, I think we're in a winning position outside of the critical hit. And you see timer is going to be a factor, or could be a factor here. But this turn, and every subsequent turn, we just double into the Calyrex. Should be in range of a Moonblast, definitely in range of a Foul Play. As Incin's going to fake out the Porygon 2. I mean, their play is just hope that I don't have an attacking move on Tapu Fini, or at least, you know, one that's not accurate. But we do get the KO. You know, Palkia is probably a safer play there, because we know that the Earth Power is going to pick up that knockout. But, yeah. And at this point, there's nothing the Incineroar can do. They don't have any recovery, and Tapu Fini's can be faster. I can click Nature's Madness, and that's going to be the game. But yeah, just like the first one, though, I think we're in a winning position before the critical hit, and even if we don't get the crit, I think we're good in the rest of that game, but certainly speeds up the end game. And if anything, just allows us to get to Game 3 just a little bit sooner. Oh, man. I was in my head while we were looking for an opponent. I was like, okay, let's try to find one that's going to be a pretty quick game. Let's fight some hyper offense, get Trick Room up early. But no, we're fighting Shuckle Chansey. They don't have a restricted, which is nice. And max moves can never miss, so the Chanseys... So the Chanseys minimizes don't mean anything. This is a game where I don't want to get Trick Room up. Oh, man. This is a bummer, because this is also going to go down to timer. Oh, bird nerd, what are you doing to me? Okay. Definitely lead Palkia. Definitely lead Palkia. I want to try to avoid any statuses, I think, so let's go Feeny. With Calyrex, and what's... I don't have any other Pokemon that deal damage. That's the one downside of this team, is if you're facing just uber stall, Shuckle Chansey stuff, you can't really do too much all the time. It could be a Moongus, and we try to just play around our... Yeah, honestly, I think Amoonguss offers the most for us here, because Porygon 2's damage output is going to be nothing. They're not going to be dealing damage to us either. The Incineroar is good for fake outs, but yeah, honestly, I do think Amoonguss is the best, because worst case scenario, you know, we get into an end game where we have to Rage Powder away a couple of Seismic Tosses from Chansey, just to give us a couple of extra turns to try to hit it with, you know, any attack. This could be a game where we Dynamax Calyrex, though, because a couple of attack boosts could be huge. They go Hatterene Liepard. Liepard likes to click Fake Out. The Hatterene's a little scary this early on in the game. Yeah, because they could either Fake Out and, you know, do whatever, or they could try... you know, they could do the Gmax Hatterene, Max Guard, Copycat Trick Room play. I don't know if they would want to do that against me, though. And wow, and this is where it's coming in. I don't know the speed interaction between Hatterene and Calyrex. Either way, we're going to go to Amoonguss here, and we are going to just try to Nature's Madness the Hatterene. If they protect and set up Trick Room, I think that's fine. You know, with Misty Terrain up, we can't put anything to sleep, but at least we are going to waste their Dynamax early in the game. The bummer is that likely in the back is just the Shuckle Chansey. But as long as we can keep them from doing too much with the Dynamax, I feel pretty good about this game. The other thing is that the Misty Terrain is going to protect us from any confusions from the Gmax Hatterene, which, you know, could be relevant. So we're going to Fake Out into the Feeny, that's fine. They probably double that slot, predicting a Protect or a Switch Out. But they Smite. It does go into the Amoonguss, though. Perfect. It goes in the Amoonguss, that's fine. Their Life Orb, Hatterene, and we don't get confused because of the Misty Terrain. This turn, with no Trick Room set up, we can just Protect Amoonguss and honestly just protect Feeny. Yeah, I don't think there's much better for me to do at this point in the game. The goal right now is stall at the Dynamax, and then go from there. Hatterene, with Life Orb and with Dynamax, is pretty scary. It can do a lot of damage. You know, you saw how much it did to Amoonguss, which, you know, has pretty good special defensive bulk as far as the investment goes. And resists the Smite, but yeah, they just click Snarl. Neither of my Pokemon are going to be trying to deal too much damage anyway. I could also get a little cheesy here as they flare into the Amoonguss. Okay. Now this next turn, do they flare again, or do they predict me to switch out into Palkia? Losing Palkia would be very bad at this point in the game, this early in the game. But if I can take a Max Flare on Palkia instead of a Smite and just waste the last turn of their Dynamax, I feel great. What I actually want to do here then is I'm going to, this turn, I'm just going to try to Pollen Puff Feeny and Heal Pulse Amoonguss, because Feeny is going to be faster than their Hatterene. Amoonguss is not going to live a Max Flare. They Copycat. What are they going to Copycat? Is it the Fire move? Mystical Fire? Into Amoonguss? That's a what? That's something I haven't seen. Wow. Using offensive Copycat. So it's going to waste the Heal Pulse, but we do make it so that their entire Dynamax, they just get one KO, and then Feeny's going to have to munch on that Citrus Berry to get a little bit healthier. But that's fine. That is absolutely fine. As we can go out now to I don't want to go out to Calyrex because the Liepard probably has... Liepard probably has what am I trying to say? Foul Play is the move. Wow. Caught me just not use my brain there. Okay. Yeah, that's the other problem about recording with this team, is that I have to use so much brain power just trying to maneuver, especially this matchup, because this sucks. I have to use so much brain power in this game that I can't even think about talking. So let's go, honestly, let's double into the Liepard here. No. Yeah. Well, the Liepard poses a threat to Calyrex. The Hatterene poses a threat to everything. So let's go into the Hatterene here, and let's protect with Tapu Fini. I am going to get the Quake off. They're going to lower my special attack with a Snarl. That's fine. And there's not really much I can do about that. You know, I would love to be able to hold on to my Dynamax until later, but I think right now, kind of defensively, I have to max so that Palkia doesn't take much damage from the Hatterene. We can get the special defense boosts too, and you know, Calyrex in the back end should just be able to clean up with a couple of Glacial Lances, is the hope, at least. So Palkia's going to eat a special attack drop. We are going to Quake into the Hatterene. This should do pretty good damage too. I would imagine probably a 2-hit KO, and it looks like it is going to be, especially after Life Orb. So that's good. That's good at least. That we are going to get the Hatterene low. We get the special defense boost as they Trick Room. Now that's not as good. We do have our special defense raised. We can... I think I might want to Geyser into the Hatterene spot, because that's a stronger move into anything that wants to come in. And again, it's probably Shuckle Chansey. So let's Geyser into the Hatterene. And I would actually really like to Nature's Madness this Liepard, because I think it's pretty likely that the Liepard switches out too. As a just expanding force, that's not going to do too much. We are going to get the knockout on Hatterene this turn. Yeah, we could have had the knockout on Liepard, but I really don't want to give them multiple switch-ins. Snarl from Liepard also might knock out Tapu Fini. So we'll have to see on that. As the crit, that one doesn't matter for sure. Guaranteed that crit doesn't matter. We do set up the rain too, so our Thunders are going to be 100% accurate, which in an endgame against Chansey that is likely going to want to click minimize a bunch of times, could be really, really nice. As Fini takes that really well. Perfect. We'll see what comes out here, because we might be able to get a Heal Pulse off into Palkia, which also would be very, very nice. Would help us out a ton. The Liepard I'm not scared of now that Trick Room is up, because if Fini goes down, we can just spam Glacial Lance. They go Shuckle. Shuckle has Sturdy. Shuckle is likely going to, you know, I would imagine a switch out. Liepard switches out into Chansey, and they just guard swap here, or they could power swap into Palkia, or a power split into Palkia, which would actually stink a lot. But let's just Geyser into the Shuckle, and let's try to get a Heal Pulse off into Palkia. If Shuckle doesn't, yeah, as they do go from Liepard into Chansey, we're kind of playing into their hands here, as we are ignoring that spot. They're going to guard split. We're going to do good damage into the Shuckle. You know, that's the main thing, and we do get the Heal Pulse off into Palkia. Perfect. Heals us up a pretty good amount. The Geyser into Shuckle, now that it has a ton of special defense investment, or now just a ton of special defense in general, is going to bring it down to Sturdy. So that's nice. We at least still do some damage. And now that our max is over, we click Thunder onto Chansey. I mean, that's what we do. We click Thunder onto Chansey, we get some paras. 2 turns left to Trick Room. Fini can... Fini would probably faint this turn. So let's Thunder Para the Chansey. Could also go for the Timer win con, but I don't think enough time has passed. I think we're only like 10 minutes into this battle. So that would be a lot of timer stalling. So let's Thunder into the Shuckle, actually. Let's try to just turn this into a 1v whatever I can muster up. So we go to Calyrex here. I also switch the Feeny out because I want to preserve the heal pulses for the late game. Assuming we can knock out the Liepard, I really, really, really want to, as they do, just go for Power Split there. Yep, that's fine. We don't need any help knocking out the Shuckle here. As they do smartly target the Calyrex with the Seismic Toss. Our Thunder, though, is never going to miss. Goes in the Shuckle. Is going to easily do the 1 damage. And then Calyrex this next turn is going to be able to click a Glacial Lance. And we can go Glacial Lance plus Thunder, probably, into the Liepard. And once we get it down to just Chansey, they can't set up Trick Room anymore. Our Tapu Fini and Palkia are both going to be faster than Chansey. Liepard, I can't imagine they fit Protect on that move set. And at least this turn too, we are going to find out as they click Fake Out into Calyrex. That actually makes a ton of sense. Is just minimize on Chansey. If we can knock out the Liepard, I think we have a decent shot. As we also we do see there though that the Chansey is slower than Calyrex, which is really nice. So Liepard, we just click Thunder into that slot again, and we Protect with Calyrex. There's not much that Palkia can do here since we do have the Life Orb, and we don't have Protect. They Copycat, but it fails because we click Protect this turn. Perfect. They're just trying to get off a cheeky Thunder there, but we do KO the Liepard, so it turns it into a 1v3. Again, another meaningless critical hit. And now we wait. Now we wait, as Chansey's just going to click Minimize again. We do know that all of our Pokemon are faster. So that is one major boost. Is all of our Pokemon are faster than Chansey. The rain stops, though. So we don't have accurate Thunders anymore. I am going to click... I think I'm still going to click Thunder for the Paralysis chance. And since they have their evasive... They have their evasion all the way up anyway. We're going to click Glacial Lance. I still have 3 minutes left of my time. So I'm still way too early. Is that a speed tie between Chansey and Calyrex? I hope not. And of course we're going to miss. That is the downside of leaving Chansey alone. We just click Glacial Lance again here. They could, predict the Protect every other turn with Calyrex and only Seismic Toss the Palkia, but they do toss into the Rex. That's interesting that they would do that. So let's Thunder Chansey and let's Protect this turn. The play really is just Protect every other turn with Calyrex. We could also just Protect every turn with Calyrex, as they do Seismic Toss into that slot. Yeah, I'm looking up at I see the timer on my camera as it's recording. So we have, we still have like 6 minutes left in this game if we're going to try to take it to timer. Honestly, smart of them to just target down the Calyrex. Because that is my Pokemon that has Protect. We don't take another Seismic Toss is the downside here, as we are going to hit a Glacial Lance. So, do a little bit of damage, maybe crit. They don't have any defense curls up, but yeah, the boost there, the defense boost that the Shuckle provides. So we Protect here with Calyrex, and switch into Tapu Fini. With Fini, we next turn are going to go for the Heal Pulse with Calyrex. The Misty Surge means that we won't be able to paralyze with any Thunders late game, but we are at least going to get one Heal Pulse off next turn as long as they don't Seismic Toss into the Palkia slot. So do Seismic Toss, and it does go into the Palkia, so they read that. That's a really good play on their end. Okay. So, we're down to our last two, and I think I'm just going to lose to this Chansey. I'm sorry. I really tried. You know, I was really hoping, after the first battle especially, I was like, man, you know, the last video went an hour. I want to try to keep this one pretty tight. But just was not meant to be, as we are playing some of the longest battles that you can have. We go for the double here, because if we don't double, we faint with Calyrex. I am going to try to use a little bit more time. I don't have a ton of it to work with, but I'm going to try to use a little bit more, just in case, you know, we get a couple double protects off. We can waste a couple more turns. We do get the double there. Hydro Pump is going to miss. That's fine. Yeah. The problem is that one more Seismic Toss KOs Calyrex, and 2 Seismic Tosses knocks out Palkia. So we just click Protect Forever. Hopefully we get the triple this turn. That'd be pretty nice. Yeah, I mean, taking this one to timer, if Calyrex goes down, then we don't even win on timer because Chansey can heal back up, and it's already at a higher HP percentage. So, kind of have to get the triple protect here to even have a chance. You know, I could have gone for doubles earlier. I think that might have been the play. But, yeah, I mean, it's tough trying to play into Shuckle Chansey. There are a couple of turns where I could have made some more aggressive plays. You know, at this point, you know, we'll play it out. We'll Hydro Pump crit. I'd go for the best. But, yeah, we're just never going to hit this Chansey. As soft-boiled as their win con, they just have to be at a higher percentage of health. And unless we, like, Hydro Pump crit 2 times in a row, yeah, this game's over. So, I mean, take the end of the game to just talk about it a little bit. Yeah. There were a couple of turns where I saw, you know, as soon as the Shuckle was on the field, the swap into Chansey was pretty telegraphed. So I could have targeted the Chansey slot that turn. I think that was my last turn of max, too. Because the Shuckle really doesn't put on any pressure. The Chansey's always the win con. We're just not going to hit anything. That's how it goes, playing Chansey. And then the turn that I swapped Palkia into Tapu Fini, you know, it was a play that I felt like I had to make. But at that point in the game, unless I had been timer stalling them, you know, prior to that, you know, I think it was just a little bit too late, and I could have tried to make a hard read there, go Fini into the other slot, and then, you know, try to play around that way. But yeah, it was tough. I absolutely do not want to see their team, but I will put on the screen just right now the rental code one more time as we'll finish out with the video. And there you see one more time the rental code for the Palkia Calyrex-Ice Router team that I used to win the Skydrop Series Tournament #1 a couple of weekends ago. It's a ton of fun. Had a lot of fun playing with it on the channel too, although, you know, especially that last battle, it's probably not the most riveting thing in the world watching me try to timer stall a Chansey at +6 evasion. But yeah, let me know what you think about the team. You can leave comments in the section below. Leave a like, leave a subscription. Those both do a ton for the channel. You can also try out the team on your own with the rental code on the screen. Poke paste in the description as well if you want to try to use it on Showdown, or, you know, get a little bit more into some of the EV spreads of the team. Yeah, I think it's a ton of fun. And, you know, I think that it's really cool that Trick Room now is finally viable on such a big stage. You know, you've seen Palkia Calyrex-Ice Rider at each of the last, you know, 3 or 4 North American regionals and the North American International Championships, you know, do really well. So I think that was really cool for that. And, you know, let me know, question of the day in the comment section below as well. What restricted pairs do you think are the most underrated right now? Now, I would say, kind of calling back to that Galarian Rapidash team, the Dialga and Kyogre restricted pair, I think is just so good. And, you know, not a lot of people have really explored it to the level of, you know, bringing it to tournaments and, you know, playing at a high level with it like that. So I think that's really interesting. I think Yveltal too has a ton of potential. You know, we saw that in the first game here, that Yveltal could put in some work. They didn't bring it against this team, which makes some sense if you're going to do a Calyrex, but I think Yveltal Groudon, kind of taking the Lunala's place back, I think, you could see some new renditions of that at the World Championships. See what Joe UX9 wants to do with Yveldon. But yeah, that's everything I've got. Try to keep it as short as possible here at the end because I know it's been a long video already. But thank you again so much for watching. Have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you next time.